Sunday morning in lovely Las Vegas.
Lovely,
How was your night? Did you survive?
I'm alive, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
Right. Is there a tiger in your bathroom?
Maybe. What happens in Vegas?
Somebody's cackling over there. I've been there. That's why, I know.
I'll go feed them. We have some big news that I think everybody's aware of.
What?
We're done with season 14.
Yeah, we're done. We finished. Finito.
See you later.
That's right. This past Tuesday, we wrapped up season 14, and it was good. It was great. It was a big episode. We had some folks come back for that particular episode. That was nice to see. You probably already know that. Spoiler alert. Yeah. Hiatus. We're starting our hiatus period. So let's look at that kind of scratchy point right now.
And what else?
She knows what I'm talking about. Jokes. Listen, I'm going to apologize in advance. He's working on a little sleep, and I'm working on heavy doses of cold medicine right now. So together we're.
He doesn't have a cold.
Yeah. Just figured I'd try something other than all the coffee.
Yeah. The bigger deal is that this is now day 5 of our 14th and final hiatus.
Oh, well, let's not go down that road.
Yeah,
just it's 10:35. Let's ease into the day. How's everybody's weekend been so far? This is like the biggest. This is like the longest con, right? This is 4 days. It's like a marathon.
Hey, Marlene.
Which I just read. You don't have to run it. For all those marathoners out there, you don't have to run it. It's a choice.
You can always drive that. Yes. Amen. Bicycle.
Yeah, that's right. Get one of those recumbent bikes where you just sit down.
There's like a song about it.
And like watch Netflix while you're just cruising through. Oh, I just started a new show on Netflix.
What?
Supernatural?
Yeah. No, not anymore. No, we're not on Netflix anymore, right?
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. In the U.S., you are.
Just making sure you're paying attention.
I was gonna get mad.
No, I just started the OA. Have you guys seen that? Yeah. I still don't know what it's about, but I'm like 4 episodes in. Buckle up. Great. It's pretty cool.
Something to watch when Supernatural's done?
What? What's wrong with you?
I'm sad.
Gosh.
Hug. Virtual hug.
Jared will be your Debbie Downer for the day.
No, not at all, man. Not at all, man. It's all gonna be over.
Oh my gosh. Go lose your shoe or something.
Oh, wait.
Do you want to take some questions?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
Way over there.
Okay.
Somebody has a light.
First.
Yeah, I'll on first. Look at that.
Okay, so good morning.
Good morning.
What would you say is the most challenging part of playing a dual role that shares a scene?
The most difficult part about playing a dual role that shares a scene? You probably have more than I have.
Yeah, I think for me, where are you from?
I actually live in Las Vegas, but I'm from France.
Oh.
Don't do a French accent.
Bonsoir.
Bonsoir.
It's not even close to being evening.
Bonjour. Day. Jour.
Jour de.
How is your jour going?
So far, so good. Thank you.
So far, so bon?
Would that be comme ça?
Comme c'est comme ça.
See?
Right pronunciation, Jensen.
It's all right.
Wait, I just did the jour thing and the
No,
slaw
that was
thing.
really good too.
Good pronunciation, Jensen.
Yeah, that's like,
Come on now.
you can't buffet style the language.
It's buffet. I think I have done a few more than Ackles has. The biggest part, honestly, is you don't have anybody to act with. I think a lot of people, I think our style of acting is sort of, it's very...
That's kind of like a scene between you and me anyways. It's just as much of a cut down to myself.
And
Threw us both under the bus.
Yeah, fair. I feel like one of my favorite parts of acting is you do your homework. You know, you read your lines and the script, you memorize them, and you get to set, and you're working with this guy or with Misha or whomever, guest star, and so then it brings out different aspects of the story you weren't really aware of. Whereas if you're playing both characters in the scene, you sort of get there and you don't have anybody to really push you. And we have great, whether they're stand-ins or stunt doubles or photo doubles, to read the lines with us, but I don't think they necessarily feel comfortable enough to push us. So one of my favorite parts of doing any scene is when somebody, it's like playing tennis or something, or whatever your sport is. When somebody kind of pushes you, you're like, all right, we're doing this, we're playing. So I feel like it's difficult to get pushed in a scene where you're kind of conscientiously thinking, I'm about to do the other side of this, so what should I do there? So it's a difficult process.
It's a dance. It's, you know, there's this kind of symbiotic thing that goes on between two performers that when they're in sync and when they're
I love in sync.
Yeah, I know. There's a rhythm that you can find within a scene.
They have great rhythm.
Hey, I'm not disagreeing with you. But when you have those, when you have scenes like that where there is this rhythm, then you're right. You do. There's like a bit of a back and forth. You challenge each other, and that kind of brings up these nuances in the scene that maybe weren't there on the page. And I think that's what he and I love doing the most when it comes to showing up on set and performing. And when you're doing a scene without somebody, it takes that away. So it's harder to find a rhythm. You have to find it from both sides. So you try to think and make decisions on how you want to perform it on one side, and then you have to remember those decisions and how you performed it on that side when you turn around and play it on the other side, which is just a lot more.
Would you say it's a challenge? Challenge?
Défi.
I think that means something else.
No one would say that ever.
Merci to you too.
I think that's a shalom.
Have a bone day.
Merci beaucoup.
I think you're on timeout.
Merci. Yes.
I was wondering, if final season, obviously, thank you guys so much for giving us 15 years.
Thank you.
In your last year, money was no object, and location was no object. Do you want to please say?
Well, it would no longer be our last year if money and location. I think same.
We've often talked about doing an actual road show, having a traveling caravan of crew and cast and writers, producers, and literally making it a traveling show. Maybe not specifically going to those towns, but moving around to where you get a different landscape and you get a different feel and a different vibe from where you're filming and what you're shooting. And so I know that logistically that would be a nightmare. It would also be very expensive, but I think it would just be really cool because it'd be like a band going out on tour, and going to these different towns and solving these different, cases. And So I specifically, I don't know. There's not one place in mind, but I've always had this dream of like actually going on the road and doing it as much like the characters do it in the show.
Yeah, agreed. I also want to do something real fast while we're talking about it.
What are we talking about?
Let's go this way. Hi, yes.
Okay. You'll have to excuse my friend.
First of all, we're very grateful to be here this weekend, of all of the weekends, to share with y'all and just get emotional.
Me too.
And I want to say to Jensen, that performance last night lit up the joint. That was really delightful. But I just wanted to reiterate to Jared, I've watched Profit and Loss like maybe 8 times now, and I'm tearing up just thinking about it. The progression of grief that you showed us and shared with us in that episode, from the beginning, when you were like a tightly coiled rope when Dean was giving his deathbed confession, to the uncharacteristic violence you showed on the Prophet, and then, of course, that fantastic final scene by the Apollo. It was unforgettable, and I'm so grateful for you.
I'm sorry. All right, enough. Can somebody fart or something?
Here. You guys covered. You guys covered, big guy.
Thank you, buddy.
Was there a question in there, or was it just...
No more crying.
It was just a therapy session.
Yeah, I think we know that.
Well, as are you, and
honestly.
you know, this is we've said it before, and we'll continue to say it for many, many, many years to come. That what we've created here goes far beyond anything you see on screen. So we're very appreciative of you.
He's saying what we've created.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You got. It was a piece of tissue, all right. There might have been some glitter in there. Yes. Yeah.
Hey guys, my question is for Jensen.
Hi.
Thank God.
I'm not making me cry. So, kind of in contrast to how Jared played Gadriel, where his diction was very, tight and intense, or like Misha playing Lucifer, where he's very bombastic and high energy. You kind of went the opposite direction of both of those with Michael, and his diction was.
You slurred a lot.
Your diction was so.
Character choice.
Like the way he spoke was so slow and controlled, and like he made his vowels really long to the point where like the cadence of his voice almost made it sound like he was singing a lot of his lines. And like to me, you didn't even sound like Dean anymore, which is just like truly an incredible job. First of all, like I thought it was incredible. Your portrayal of Michael. So my question is how much of that was you like consciously making an effort to differentiate between Dean and Michael, and how much was it like the writers and maybe the director sort of helping you shape the way you portrayed that character?
Thank you. And yes, there was a heavy intent on making that difference as much as I could. When it first, well, I guess last hiatus, when I knew that I was going to be coming back and playing Michael, I had conversations with Andrew just about like calling him. I was like, I'm saying, is there any specific kind of a thing that I need to know? Is there a certain way you want him to speak or sound and I was also thinking like how Christian had what he had done with him, and I think I've told the story before. I asked Christian if there was anything that he tells himself before going into the character. Is there something that he just a trigger that helps him kind of get into character? I think that some people have those things, and he was like, yeah, I do this, and he like flipped his coat out and was like. I was like, okay. And so when talking with Andrew about it, Andrew was like, yeah, no, I think you got it. And so I was a bit, to be honest, in the first couple of episodes, I only had like 2 scenes in the season opener this past year.
That's why it was so good.
And yeah, that's right, quality, not quantity. And I think that I was still trying to find that rhythm of who this guy was, how he spoke, how he moved. I remember one thing that I kept kind of telling myself was, remember that you are the most powerful being in anybody's presence. There is nothing that you are frightened of. There is nothing.
So like a typical day for you?
Yeah, because then he gets to work and be like, wait, am I Dean or Michael today?
Right, or Jensen. And one thing I did was I tried not to blink. So I tried to just keep those eyes just as open as possible, because and the slow looks around. It was almost robotic.
And that messed me up, because usually he's so blinky with those big old eyelashes. How did you sleep, Jared? Welcome back to set.
My youngest daughter, I asked her, I'm like, give me sweet eyes, and she does.
By the way, she's like a Disney character. Her eyelashes are this long. It's just like.
But it wasn't until
I don't know how you discipline her, because
I don't. I'm like, ew.
But Daddy,
We're good. I'm gonna take it out on your brother.
you already beat him up. I'll beat him up again. He must have done something wrong.
Yeah. But it wasn't until I think Spate's episode, his first directing one, where I kind of got with him and I was like, hey man, if you're seeing anything, like you know me, you've seen me perform for many years. Give me just thumbs up, thumbs down if some of these choices are what you think is right. And so he kind of helped me, just kind of kept me between the lines a little bit, and then I kind of really started feeling the rhythm. And it wasn't. I remember that one scene where I was chained up inside the Men of Letters, talking to both Castiel and talking to Jack. And that was really, I think that was, I kind of found my stride, just in time to kill him. So, anyway,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Straight down the pipe. You know what? You were moving your hand. For some reason, I see shadows. Yeah. Now she's standing. Okay. I made a mistake.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm an author and an editor and a teacher, and I accidentally wrote 1,000 pages about your show last year.
I accidentally. That's brilliant.
I brought 19 of my friends, and one of the things we talked
19?
Yeah.
You go big, don't you?
What?
You go big, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, 1,000 pages, 19 friends.
It was 6 months. It was no big deal.
Got it.
But one of the things we talk about as writers is the theme of the show and of the episodes. And I know the overall theme of the show is family and revenge and redemption, but I'm curious what you think the theme of 14 has been now that you've wrapped in and you've seen the arc start to finish. If there's something special that has stood out to you about the story structure and the theme of what you're telling.
Yeah, I'd push back a little bit on revenge. No, yeah, totally. But I don't think, God, I don't feel like Sam or Dean set out for revenge as much as they set out for vengeance. Like sort of like this, not because you punched me, I'm gonna punch you harder, but like the right thing to do is punch you harder. So I'm gonna do the right thing, you know, which is maybe intangible.
It's more I'm gonna make this right as opposed to I'm just gonna
I'm gonna write this as opposed to like you made me mad, I'm gonna get you. It's more like, man, you didn't make me mad, like I can deal with it, but I need to get you.
I feel like season 14 dealt with a lot with sacrifice.
Loss.
Sacrifice and loss, but a lot of that loss came from sacrifice.
Yeah.
And there could have been more sacrifice, or could have been more loss, but you know, Dean was ready to take the jump in the box and take Michael down. You know, you have Jack, who was willing to put himself out there.
Yeah, part of it, I feel like this season also part of it we dealt with, you know, Supernatural has had a lot of loss, and then they came back, you know, like I died and came back. He died and came back. So I feel like part of this season is more about the true pain of loss. And it's sort of something we're going through right now with the show. That's what I was going to try to talk about earlier. Yeah, so lost.
Yes, sir, right there.
So my question is more to bring a little levity to the situation. This is
Thank God.
This is for Jensen
Thank
about
God.
Jared.
For me, about him?
Yeah.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. You want to share?
We're going to. It's all about your sharing, actually. So earlier in this weekend, we've heard some wonderful stories about how Jared on scene sometimes has the force of the wind, if you know what I mean.
The force is strong with him.
So I was wondering if you could share with us, please, a humorous either on or backstage, off-scene event where the force of the wind was certainly very strong.
I'm laughing really quickly because my 5-year-old will be like, Dad, I tooted. I'm like, Chevy, that wasn't a toot, that was the force of the wind.
Yeah, the force is strong. What baffles me about his skill set is that if he wants it to be silent, if he needs it to make noise in order for people to laugh, and it's unbelievable because it's
Are you crop dusting?
But the audible ones don't at all. And I'm like, how? And he's like, it's the force. And it truly is baffling to me. The skill of flatulence that you possess.
We literally are unhireable anywhere else.
Yes, that's a common theme heard on set by most of the crew and the cast is that that we're just not hireable in any other on any other project.
And we joke often that we're unfireable. You know, like you can't really do Supernatural without Sam and Dean. But we're also unhireable anywhere else. So it's just weird.
Just the lack of professionalism that is displayed from moment to moment. But then we somehow managed to get. I mean, I remember.
Dude, forces of the wind happen.
I remember.
It's not unfunny.
Phil Segretia, who's been with us for forever, was directing the season finale, and there was one day where he had the devil in him, and Phil's just like walking out, and he's saying through like laughing tears, like, "Can we please just get the scene?"
It'll make the gag reel for sure.
Oh yeah, and he's like, I just want to finish this before lunch, please. He's like begging Jared to just behave.
I won't say too much, but I will say this. It was shot on Castiel from the waist up, and I was crawling onto set so that the camera couldn't see me.
Yeah, because at one point he was standing next to Misha, and so the camera was, first it got Misha's coverage, which Jared, I believe, was grabbing the inside of his knee or his thigh, and and squeezing it, so like drawing blood, and so Misha's like, I can't do this with him here. So they literally just said, you're off camera, get out of here, somebody else will read your lines. So they kick him off the set. And I'm across from Misha, and he's now doing the scene, and I just look in the doorway, and here comes Jared crawling on all fours back onto set to inflict more pain on Misha. And I leaned into to Brad, our camera operator. I'm like, tilt down, tilt down, tilt down. He's like, we're in the middle of it. I'm like, tilt down. And so he just tilts down, and there's Jared just like. So now keep in mind, Jared still hasn't done his coverage yet. And here's where it takes like an even more bizarre turn. During Jared's coverage, I'm thinking, well, Misha's gonna get him back big time. And Misha was, but in retaliation for Misha getting him back, Jared is now squeezing the inside of his thigh even harder, which made Jared's coverage look like this.
I also,
and I think Nina, she's our director. She said, Jared, you're the only person who sabotages your own coverage.
You're the only actor I've ever worked with who sabotages their own coverage.
And
I will say this: when Misha was like, I had bruises on my arm. He was sitting there going like this, like the inside,
pinching the inside of my bicep,
like the meat.
That is a very sensitive, like.
And you're sitting there, and I was like, this kind of pissed me off, but I totally deserve this. I said it's like
I'm just like so happy I was not on that side of the table.
I deserve this.
And Phil, he keeps coming out, he's like, guys, please, just want to finish the scene before lunch. And he's like laughing because it's, I don't know, again, unhireable. Anywhere else, we don't put up. And there was one crew guy who was new. He was a day call that day, and he was working some of the electrics stuff. And I remember him watching in just like disbelief that this was the kind of shenanigans that goes on the show that is in its 14th year. And they yelled cut, and he was just like, wow. Literally, that was it. Yeah, like just like, I can't believe these people are allowed a job. Anyway, go ahead.
All right.
I saw a conspiracy theory online. Kripke's first.
Oh, well, share it, please.
Kripke's vision was.
Online conspiracy theories.
So conspiracy theory online. Kripke's vision was 5 years. Can't help but notice it went 10 extra. Who made the Crossroads deal?
I will
listen. 10 extra years, you know. Somebody sold their soul.
I read that too. It's really funny. I went way down the rabbit hole, and if I can't say it, I'm not going to say it again. But yeah, I agree. We also kind of wanted to communicate to you guys. This was a community decision. Like the network and the studio did not say like, "Hey guys, get out of here, you're done." It was more of it's like a dog you love, putting it down, you know.
Yeah, don't do that. It's no. This was certainly not an easy decision. If we're going to address it, let's just address it now. It wasn't an easy decision. It was months and months, if not years, of discussion between he and I, between the rest of the cast, between the crew, between our writers, between our producers, between the studio, between the network. Nobody wanted to see this show fizzle out, and I think that it was everyone wanting to do the biggest service to the show that we could by going out strong. And it just seemed like the writing was kind of on the wall as to when that was happening. And I think everybody kind of felt that it was coming soon. And so it was just taking that leap of faith of going like, well guys, let's get out the paint, let's paint that finish line, and hold our heads high because what we've accomplished is unlike any other. I made an analogy last night. I said, I was like, listen, if we're driving in the Impala and we're headed down the road, and it's like, left, you're going to hit a ramp and go off a cliff, and it's going to be epic. Or right, you're just going to run out of gas about 30 miles down the road in the middle of the desert with nothing around you. I'm like, I'm going left.
Those both suck.
I want to go out with like pyrotechnics.
Both suck.
Yeah, but it's, dying in your car because you ran out of gas, that's, yay. That's fun.
Yeah, so that and the Crossroads deal.
And apparently somebody made a Crossroads deal because all signs were pointing to next year. So that's there you go. What's that?
That was mean. That was mean.
How we doing? Oh, is that it? We're gonna end on that. Yay! Perfect.
All right.
I tried to make
all right. Well, listen.
last one.
We're not done. We have a whole nother year.
Yep.
So I didn't get sad at the end of my junior year of high school, going like, "I'm so sad it's over." No, I still have my entire senior year to go.
Right.
So for the non-Texans, a whole nother is Texan for another.
This is true. All right, guys. We'll see y'all in a little bit. Love y'all. Glad you're here.